Welcome to Dead Bird, the Upland Hunting Podcast where bird dogs lead the way, wild flushes raise your heart rate, and the stories are just as good as the shots. Whether you're chasing quail in the south, roosters in the Midwest, or chokers on a cliff, this is where the hunt lives, and we're so excited. I'm your host, Josh Spartman. Let's get into it today. Today we're going to talk about what is upland hunting. I'm so excited about this podcast because I know for a long time, and for many of you, you've just heard the term upland bird hunting. So today we're going to talk about that. Got a few things I want to cover, but before I get there, something I want to do, something that's exciting, I'm going to offer, since this is our second podcast, I'm going to offer you the opportunity to come hunt with me. I'm nothing special. I'm just an average bird hunter. I'm not a hero. I love to hunt birds and I kill birds. So if you want to come and have fun with me, I'm going to offer you that opportunity at no cost to you. All you have to do is three things. Number one, you have to like this podcast. You've got to like it on YouTube, social media, wherever you're listening to this at. Number two, you've got to subscribe to this on YouTube. So you got to subscribe to the Dead Bird Hunting Podcast channel. And number three, you have to share it and make a comment. You can say, we love this podcast, or you can say this podcast sucks. I don't care, but I want you to like it, subscribe to it, and share it so we can get this out here. When we get to 150 subscribers, we are going to draw out of the people that liked it, subscribed to it, and shared to it. And you're going to get to come with me on a 3-day hunt in eastern Montana. You're coming as my friend. I'm not a guide. I'm not your friend yet, but we're going to be good friends by the time you get there. You're going to come with me as your guide, and we are going to have a good time. So if you want that, and you need to do it for free, all you're going to be responsible for is the travel to get there. You can fly in, and I will come pick you up, and we will have a great time. So I'm excited about that. What is upland hunting? That's the question we're going to answer today. We're going to answer a few things about it, and we're going to talk about it in detail. Maybe something you know, maybe something you don't agree with. I don't know. I don't really care. We're just going to have fun. Remember, that's what I love to do is have fun. So what does upland even mean? What exactly is upland hunting? If you want to look it up in the simplest terms, it's hunting wild birds that live in dry, elevated terrain. Think grasslands, CRP fields, woodlots, and river bottoms. No blinds, no boats. This isn't about decoys and calling. It's about walking and walking a lot. Now, I don't have anything against duck hunting. We're going to talk about duck hunting. I'm going to get people that spend a lot of duck money on duck hunting. They're going to come on the podcast because this is about dead birds. But today, we're talking about upland hunting. And I hope that some of you love that or that you learn to love it. You're on foot. You're following your dog. You're covering ground. You might walk 5 miles. You might walk 15 miles. The birds that you're going after, they do not sit still, and neither will you be able to if you're going to be able to say, dead bird, dead bird. Upland bird hunting is different from waterfowl hunting or big game. You're not sitting or waiting. You're moving, always moving, and the thrill is in the field when you find the bird or you find your dog slammed on point, or a cubby flushes underfoot like a bunch of fireworks. So that is the simple definition of upland bird hunting. Does it sound exciting? Well, good. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the birds that we get to hunt. Who are the stars of the show? You might argue it's the birds, or you might argue it's the dogs. Some days it's the dogs, and some days it's the birds. But we're going to talk about the birds for just a minute. Let's break down just a few of the common birds that we hunt in the upland species. Number one, the pheasants. You call them the king of the Midwest. They cackle when they flush. Chad's going to put a sound in here for me to let you hear it. So he's going to add that right there. Big birds, tough birds, smart birds, especially late in the season, the pheasant's the king of the Midwest. Now, personally, me, that is not my favorite bird. Why? Because I like to see my dogs work and work well. And pheasants, most of the time, do not cooperate. So, anyhow, many people getting into upland hunting love to hunt pheasants. But, your dogs are just going to have to learn to hunt pheasants if that's what you want to kill a lot of. A lot of times, especially late in the season, They're running to the other end of the field before you ever get out of the truck. So it's not like stepping in the middle of a covey of quail and getting a shot right off the end of your gun barrel. That happens occasionally. A good light snow covered morning, you might get them to sit still later in the season, or you get the dumb ones at the beginning of the season, and it might happen. How about quail? The little dynamites, they explode in coveys and vanish just as quick. You can shoot in the midst of 30 birds and not kill one. I don't know how that happens, but it happens. If you're from the South, you know the sound of a covey rise, maybe not as far Midwest like Montana, those areas. Ruffed grouse, another bird that we go after, sometimes called the drummer of the woods, is going to be found in the woods. Some people say they're the hardest bird. I don't know if I can say that and be confident in that, but many of you who like ruffed grouse hunting love ruffed grouse hunting. So there's even a society for ruffed grouse hunters. So many of you are excited about that season and what that entails. But they're found normally in the northern forests. Their flush sounds like a helicopter taking off, and most folks miss them, especially their first time. How about those chuckers, those ones that make you work for it? Those are not the fat boy birds. I'm just saying, they're usually found on cliffs. They're western mountain birds, and that makes you earn every single shot. They live where boots go to die, just so you know. That's where they live. Chucker hunting is just another way of saying hiking with a shotgun and an occasional heartbreak. The partridge in Montana is maybe one of my favorite, maybe because they mimic the quail, and I love the quail hunt, so lots of times they're in coveys. They're a bigger bird, and they are hard to hit. I don't know, maybe I just suck at shooting, but they're a great bird to hunt. I love Hungarian partridges. And I love slicing a jalapeno open and putting a part of the breast in there with some cream cheese. Not any better eating than that. The sharp-tailed grouse, I love the area where the sharp-tailed grouse live. Back to I love bird dogs. And because I love bird dogs, then I love to see them work where the sharp-tailed grouse live, which a lot of times is in the open prairie, so your dog can be 400, 500, 600 yards away, and you can just see him working back and forth. Slam on a point. I love the sharp-tailed grouse. And, you know, there's other birds that fall into those categories, snipe and other birds that you might like to hunt. We'll talk about them as we go on, but that's just a few. Many of you might for the first time want to chase pheasants. Many of you might for the first time want to chase quail. I don't know, but upland hunting is about birds that we don't sit still to kill. We walk and walk a lot. But we all know the truth is you can hunt upland birds without dogs, but the dog runs this game because the dog makes this something else entirely. I know a lot of people that go and walk and they walk and walk, but man, for me, if I didn't have the dog, I don't know that upland hunting would be my thing. You have two different styles of dogs when you're upland hunting. You have pointing dogs and you have flushing dogs. Pointing dogs like setters, GSPs, Brittany's, all of those pointers. You locate birds and they freeze when they smell them. That's their job. That's what they do. That's what they're good at. And so the beautiful thing in that moment, a pause in the middle of a bunch of chaos, a statue made of muscle and instinct, that is your pointing dog. I believe America should be made of pointing dogs. I think it's the most iconic thing that you can see is a good pointing dog on point. Again, different breeds that rule that world. But there's another type of dog, a flushing dog. Many of you who are traditional upland hunters say they don't belong in the upland hunting field. However, they do have their place, and many of us know that. The flushing dogs, like the labs, most of the time, labs or springers are used for that. They send birds flying. That's their job. Hopefully in range where you can get a shot, and they're usually pretty good at retrieving. So a lot of people really love the flushing dogs. I would say on pheasants, for me, what I've recommended is that if it's late in the season and they're deep in cover, I really don't want a pointing dog. Though they work, it works sometimes. I would rather have a dog that stayed close to me, was hunting, and they were chasing those rascals out of that cover and bringing them back to me. It usually brings the dog back to hand. It's not far away, and so we get to see it. I remember the first time I got to see my Miko point a pheasant in South Dakota. Me and one of my best friends were traveling up there. Never had been pheasant hunting by myself. This was my first trip by myself. We get literally across the state line and we go to the first Walmart we find, and we go out there and we get a book that shows you all the land you can hunt, and we go into the first field that's the closest thing to that Walmart, and I turn Miko loose and she points, and we go up and we kick this bird up, and it is a big as a chicken, and I didn't know what to do. Made all kinds of noise. My setter's standing there on point. Miko was doing her job, and all of a sudden flushes into the air. My heart's pounding, and we kill it, and it's the wrong species. I think I'm out of the statute of limitations, but I didn't know any better. All I knew is it was where I was at the right time, and it was a dead bird. And I believe we cleaned it and stuffed it under some stuff and ate it that night. So it was awesome. But then I realized that if you knew what they sounded like when they got up, you wouldn't have to worry about that. So setters, flushers, bird dogs rule this game. They're really the boss in the bird hunting world, upland world. How about the gear that you'll need to be a good upland hunting? You know, upland hunting doesn't require a truckload of gear like you duck hunters. I know you got to carry a trailer with 4,000 decoys. I've never understood that, but you understand that. So I'll get one of you on the podcast at some point. I just like to go with people that's bought all that stuff, and they take me to where the ducks are and we kill them. That's what I like to do. So, but for upland hunting, it's not quite that much. Though you will need to do a little preparation. A reliable shotgun. What's that? 20, 12, whichever fits you and swing smooth. I hunt with a 20. That's just what I do. I use an over and under. You don't have to do that, but I kind of like the tradition of using those things, and so I encourage you to think about what kind of gun are you going to shoot. A 12 gauge automatic with 5 rounds in it is not really what you want to do in the upland world, though there is people out there that does that. I'm not criticizing you, but I'm saying that that's for unsportsmanlike people. No, I'm just kidding. Many of you are good at it. You only shoot a couple times. But I do have friends that like to kill every bird that gets up on the first shot and go back to the truck and be done. I just think 2 shots is enough. So I use an over and under. Whatever you want to use. 12, 20. Pick it out. Go with it. I do carry a 12 some days when it's windy and I am pheasant hunting. I just like, I don't know, somebody told me that it worked better, so that's what I did. And I seem to kill more birds that way. So good boots, not decent boots, but good boots. You'll thank me the first day at mile 7 that you went and bought good boots. I use Crispies. I love my Crispies. I don't think I would go back to anything else. I hunted a lot of years in Cabela's brand, Bass Pro Shops brand, Walmart's brand, and I paid for that. And I decided that I'm going to buy me a pair of good boots. So I was listening to one of you other fellow podcasters, and you said to go buy a pair of Crispies, and so I did. And I'm so thankful for whoever that was and whoever I was listening to. So I encourage you to go buy you a pair of good boots. I encourage you to get you a vest. Don't start any vest works, but a strap vest system, you're going to thank me in the long run. Carry shells, carry water, especially if you got a bird dog, and carry birds. Make sure you have some brush pants or some chaps to fix that. So make sure you're looking at that. Thorns don't care about your feelings, guys. You're going to walk through thorns. You're going to walk a long way. And the thorns do not care about your feelings. So get you some chaps, get you some brush pants. They make all kinds of brands these days. Get you something that you like, fits you good. And then there's the walk. That's where the grit comes in. There's nothing quite like the rhythm of boots and tall grass. You walk and you walk. Dog out front, heart full of hope, and you walk some more. It's more than just the birds, guys. We talk about upland hunting. Here's the part that keeps folks coming back. It's about the people that you meet. The campfire story, the busted hunts, the shared sandwiches at the tailgate. It's about the conversation. It's about the groups that you get to be a part of. It's about the preserving the habitat. It's about keeping things. It's about the tradition. It's about shotguns and passing on stories down from granddad to grandkid. Teaching your daughter to trust the dog. Listening to an old timer tell you about the birds long ago. Upland hunting is about the chase that never really seems to end. You do it because you don't do it just because it's something easy to go do. You do it because somewhere out there under a blue sky and bird scent, there's a point waiting ahead. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be there when it happens. So that's upland hunting. And as we move into our closing segment today, boots, birds, bird dog, it's hard, it's wild, it's beautiful. Friendships you make along the way, you can never, ever ask for those back. So I encourage you guys, if you like what you heard today, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening, YouTube, Facebook. We don't really know how to get all the information out there, but I know that if I don't do this, then I'm not going to get the information out there. So we're starting with this, and I'm offering a hunt. I don't know how that works, but I know that I can look at your name and I can put it in a hat and I can draw it out. So please share this episode with a friend who's just getting into the sport. Tag us on all the social media stuff. And we're going to, next week, dig a little bit further into the bird dog and choosing your first bird dog. If that's something that interests you, it's a decision that might just change your life forever. Until then, keep killing birds. This is Dead Bird, and I'm your host, Josh Spartan, signing off. Adios. Go kill a bird.